It's Mike with It's Pittsfield Tonight. It is Wednesday, May 27th, and I'm going to jump right into it. So last night, Tuesday the 26th, we had a city council meeting. Not a very eventful one, but just a couple things I want to go over on that. And of course, we're in budget season, and we're coming down to the wire with the last few budget hearings with the Committee of the Whole. So there's going to be quite a bit discussed there. As many of you probably saw in the last video I did, it got really weird with our, I think his title is Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. I think he's a director or something like that. That was a very strange segment of the meeting. It seemed like it wasn't good. If you haven't seen it, I would go back and watch that. PCTV has that on their Facebook page. You can check it out there. That's probably the easiest way. But I think we're going to hear more about that at the next budget hearing, because our DEI office, their budget is not that far off from the entire human resources budget. I think it's around $206,000 a year for DEI that we're spending, and I believe human resources budget is around $270. So it's I think that's kind of concerning. If we're going to spend that kind of money when we're looking at making cuts and trying to save money, that's something worth looking into, because there was a lot of unanswered questions as far as what is happening with the position, the work that's being done, how it's helping the community, and all that. So it'll be interesting to follow through on that. At last night's city council meeting, there was the few big things being discussed. One was the airport. And many of you who've been following me for a while know that for years I've been talking about the airport in Pittsfield being key to a lot of the changes we're seeing. And I don't think a lot of people are paying attention to that. The airport traffic is up tremendously. Landing fees are up. The airport is the one department in the city that is just about paying for itself. It's growing and growing and growing and growing. And, we've talked about gentrification in the city. And there's a lot of people, that have talked about that. Is it happening? My personal opinion is yes, the community is being gentrified. And we're seeing it when you have capital investment companies that have come into the area and have basically acquired it. I mean, we have investment firms that have come up here and bought up so many residential and commercial properties that it has changed the landscape of Pittsfield and is continuing to. North Street, I don't know how that's going to play out. We're seeing more and more residential being added to our downtown area. There's a lot to look at there. But I have said from day one with that airport that the airport is key to all of this. So the airport is getting ready to do a $2.5 million remodel or redo of our taxiway for runway A, the main runway. And 95% of that is being covered by a Mass DOT FAA grant. I think from watching last night's meeting, it's around $60,000 that the city is throwing in towards the $2.5 million. And anybody who lives anywhere out in West Pittsfield or even downtown, because a lot of that jet traffic comes right over the city, you can see how much air traffic has increased over the past few years. So if you haven't been up to the airport, head up there. Take a drive up there, check it out. I think you might be surprised at the new hangars, the amount of air traffic coming in and out of there, and the jets are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And a few years ago, a lot of you might remember, I filmed a 737 that came into the Pittsfield Airport with just two people on it. But a 737, which is like a 209 passenger jet, land and take off with zero problem. And my gears were spinning when I saw that, because I thought, that airport is what separates us from anywhere else in the county. We have a small municipal airport that can handle aircraft that big. That is going to change things, because when I talk to people about some of these changes we're seeing in the investment firms that are coming into our community and buying up a lot, because they've seen the opportunities here. And some people will say to me, well, Mike, there's towns and cities all over the country that are like Pittsfield. I disagree with that. I totally disagree with that. Pittsfield is one of those places. For one, it's the Berkshires. The Berkshires have been world renowned for hundreds of years. Two, it's a community of around 43,000 people in between two of the largest cities in the world, and centrally located right in between New York City, Boston, Hartford, Springfield. And if you look at our natural resources, what we have to offer, you can see why the Berkshires were a destination spot going back 150, 200 years ago. This is one of the most beautiful areas in the country. And again, when you're a 20-minute flight to Boston, a 17 to 20-minute flight to New York City, literally a skip over a puddle to get to Hartford or Albany or Springfield. I mean, it's you can see the appeal there. We have something very, very unique. So I'm going to disagree with there's Pittsfields all over the country. There's not. And I think you're going to see these changes. They're happening quickly. The past 9 years or so, we've seen a lot. And when you see a lot of people say, well, so many businesses have closed and so many things have left, that's true. No doubt, that's true. But what is the other thing that you've seen? Usually when a community is hurting, businesses are closing, things are shutting down, something that usually correlates to that is property values go down. That's not what we've seen here. Property values have skyrocketed here. And we keep saying, well, we don't have enough housing. We can't keep up with it. But we have investment firms that basically have taken over. Some of these companies own our rentals. The majority of the rental market here is not what it was just a decade or two ago, when the bulk of rentals was off of somebody who had an investment property, an individual, maybe somebody who owned a duplex and was renting out the other side, or had an income property or something like that. Most of them now are all handled that if they're not owned by a company, they're managed by a company for an owner that does not live in the area. We see a lot of that, a real lot of that. So it's something worth paying attention to, for sure. That's something, I started bringing up years ago, and I'm not trying to be negative about it, because I do look at both sides of that. I've had people come up to me and say, yeah, but what would happen if some of these investment firms didn't come in here? Where would Pittsfield be? I can't answer that, because who knows? I don't know where it would be. How much has it changed the housing market? Considerably, because people are competing now with capital investment firms that you're not. If they want to acquire a property, they're going to acquire a property, whether it be residential or commercial. And we're seeing a lot of that. There's rumors floating around about Guardian Guardian Insurance out on Outer South Street. I've heard a lot of that. If some of you might remember, months ago, I mentioned in a video that there was a rumor, and it's just a rumor. So I hate rumor mills, but since there's stuff floating around online and people have talked about it, I have not heard that Guardian is leaving the area. I don't know if that's an accurate rumor or not. From all the information I have, it is not. I've heard that Guardian will be staying on South Street. just not at that location. And I don't know if that's even true or not either, but I have heard that they will be coming to South Street Commons, which is near the hotel, right near the intersection of West Street and South Street. I'm going to follow up with that because that could be a rumor, but I've heard that from quite a few people, that the top floor of South Street Commons. And I don't know for what reason. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's something worth keeping an eye on. And the only reason I'm bringing that up is because I've heard the rumors and I've seen the posts from a certain website floating around saying they're closing down or they're leaving the area. I don't believe that to be true. Could be, I guess, but I don't believe that to be true. All the information I have, and when I first mentioned that 3 or so months ago that they would be leaving that building, I was told at the time that it was due to certain elements of repair and things like that that needed to be done at the building. So anyway, I wanted to address that. Tonight, this is a Wednesday night week with a Pittsfield School Committee meeting. School Committee meeting is at 6 p.m. I don't know if a vote will be taking place tonight at the School Committee meeting over the PHS report from that whole scandal, whatever you want to call it, allegations, alleged things that happened, whatever. But when the independent law firm, I should say, was hired to do that report at a price tag of between $150,000 and $160,000, there was a vote a little ways back. That was a petition put forward by Sierra Battori on the school committee to vote to release a redacted version of that report of what happened. There was an added piece to the end of that of something about having the committee review it. I guess it caused some confusion, even though I believe from what I listening to it, the whole first part of that is we're voting to release a redacted version of the report. And I believe the date at the time was like February something, the end of February. There's a possibility that tonight they will be re-voting on that to either rescind their vote to release it or voting again to release it. I personally don't think that a redacted version of that full report will ever see the light of day. I don't believe it will. Because, again, there's some people in city government that are saying we can't release it. We've been warned by the Secretary of State's office that we're facing potential lawsuits. I personally feel like without releasing that report, it's going to make things worse. The rumors are going to continue to grow and grow and grow. Some of the most serious allegations that have come out about something at one of our high schools that not just disrupted the community, it made national news. There were jokes about it on one of the late night shows. Not good, not a good image for the city. And of course, parents going, what is happening? What's going on? People freaking out because these are some serious allegations that came forward. The investigation was done. The school committee at the time came out and said nothing to see here. And that's that. Everything was unsubstantiated. I don't know. Talk about running into the movie theater and screaming fire and then just say, no, it's cool. Something has to come out. And I don't get why that can't be released as a redacted version where all personal information is taken out of that. I don't understand it. But again, I'm not privy to a lot of the information about it that some are. So, I don't know. There could be something I'm missing there, but pay attention to tonight's school committee meeting. I think those have been very emotional and heated and a lot of back and forth over some serious issues. So that's one to watch. That's tonight at 6 p.m. If you can't attend in person, it streams on Facebook. That's usually the best place to watch it. Or you can go to Pittsfield Community Television's website and they stream it through all their streaming platforms on there. There's a variety of ways to watch it. So, yeah. Again, my fundraiser is still continuing. It's coming to a close soon. Thank you to everybody who has donated. This has been such a heavy year for requests, and everything's more expensive than it has been in a long time. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate the support. If you can give, I continue to put the GoFundMe in the links, or in the a link to in the comment section. So I will do that with this video. There's a bunch of stuff coming up. I finished an interview with our district attorney yesterday afternoon. I'm probably going to break that into a two-part series. We covered a lot of stuff, so it was a great sit-down with District Attorney Tim Shagru, and just talking about a lot of stuff in the community and things going on. A lot of great information in there that I think a lot of people will be interested in. So that'll be coming out in the next day or two. And then starting next week, I'm going to start filming for my restaurant and pizza promos. And then after that, it'll be other restaurants. So there's already quite a few signed up for that. So that'll be a lot of fun. And it's a positive thing to promote our local businesses. So all that is coming up. So again, tonight, school committee meeting, 6 p.m. And keep an eye out for all the other stuff coming out, including the interview with our district attorney, Tim Shagru. So that's it for now. Get outside and enjoy the weather if you can. It looks like it's going to be summer weather finally coming in, nice days ahead. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll catch you all in the next day or two.